We're here at an amazing AWS Energy Symposium 2024. I'm Jordan Bloom, Editorial Director with Heart Energy. I'm joined by Ariane Jayr, Global Accounts Director for Cloud Sales with AVEVA. Thank you so much for joining us, really appreciate it. Just to kick things off, if you don't mind just kind of explaining what AVEVA does and what you're focused on.
We are a software company. And what we do is we focus on the entire life cycle of industrial assets, from ideation to design, the pre-feed, the optimization, the operation of an asset, the maintenance of an asset, until decommissioning.
Great. Yeah, the full life cycle, giant global footprint. So you've got a lot going on, everything from energy innovation, generative AI. You were saying you've been to this conference a few times now.
Yes.
I wanted to get your take on just kind of how the mood, the trends have evolved and where you see things heading.
Yeah, see, so it's my third year at the AWS Energy Conference, and I think they only had 3, so I've been to all of them. The change that I've seen is 3 years ago, sustainability was top of mind for everybody, customers and partners, the entire ecosystem around the AWS. Then things changed and people realized the cost of sustainability, and that we also need to make the oil and gas and the energy in general affordable. So it's sort of the pendulum swing on the other side. I think this year what I've seen is the realization that you can have sustainability and affordability at the same time, but it requires innovation, it requires collaboration of all the parties for that.
And that's where AVEVA and others step in?
Yes, indeed.
I was going to say too, the energy sector has done a lot for a long time with machine learning, analytics. You're starting to do more with generative AI. Do you see that as a big shift or a natural evolution? How is that working out so far?
I would say it's both a big shift and a natural evolution. I actually did my master's on the infancy of statistics and what became machine learning in the future. So it has been for sure an evolution, but the advancement of cloud computing dramatically changed the definitions and the nature of the calculations that could be handled by those systems of machine learnings and generative AI. And this is the type of conversations I have with my customers on a daily basis. So as you said in the introduction, my customers are the 45 largest customers of AVEVA. They are in the food and bev industry, CPG, pharma, and of course power and energy. And the conversation we have are how, if you're going to decarbonize your industry, if you're going to go to a more sustainable way of working, if you want to include circularity, you cannot do it with the tools of yesterday. You have to reinvent yourself. I mean, oil and gas companies, especially in Europe, are reinventing their entire business model. And so the conversations we have with those companies is that how we can accompany them through this business transition and energy transition with digital transformation, which AVEVA and AWS are a big part of.
Well, now, do you want to maybe highlight a specific customer challenge you want to showcase, and just kind of how you partnered, worked with them to solve it?
So we partner with AWS on many different parts of the relationship. Like every relationship, it's a complete on different fronts. So you have today an example of our co-marketing. we work together and are sponsor of each other's events. So we are a silver sponsor of the AWS Symposium, and in return they are also a gold sponsor of our event in Paris. The week of October 13, we have the AVEVA World Conference, and they're a large sponsor for us as well. So that's the first part. The second part is co-sell, and this is where we're very proud of our competency. We attained the manufacturing competency from AWS, and recently the energy competency. And I understand the energy competency is a very special one to have, very restricted. So we're very proud of that, because it says to the world that AVEVA is using the AWS technology, and that it benefits in return our end customers. So it's really a threefold aspect. The third aspect is working on our development. So we've been a customer of AWS and developing on the AWS platform for more than a decade. So it's a really long-standing relationship. And the last one is, of course, co-innovation. And that's work we're doing with them more recently, especially on generative AI.
Okay. And can you give any examples of that work with generative AI now that it's, relatively young, but
relatively young,
quickly?
And I think the world awakened to it really back in last fall, really in 2023. So what we've done since is, so AVEVA has, because we work closely with large assets, we have what we call a digital twin offer. We call it asset information management. And when you build those digital twin, they're very complex systems. And building them, you need to rely on a very strong data model. And the more precise your data model, the stronger your data model, the easier it will be to use the system, and the more flexible your system is going to be. So what we started doing already a few years ago is using the faceted search built in the AWS technology. And faceted search, if you don't know about it, is it's really when you do your online shopping. Faceted search is with filters. You select the color, the garment, the size. That's faceted search. So we've had that people could look for a pump, for a manufacturer of a pump, they could use for capacity. But what we wanted to offer to our customers, and really what our customers wanted from us, is a more flexible search mechanism, where you could you were looking for information in context. You were looking for information inside the document, not only on the attribute of the document. And for that, we needed a semantic search. So this we have this customer in oil and gas company in Malaysia that wanted to partner with us in looking for a semantic search engine. And the world is full of generative AI. What really was key for us, there are twofolds. The first one, of course, was the quality of the technology. And of course, AWS was able to provide us with that. But the second part that was also key for us was the responsible aspect of generative AI and the ethical aspect of generative AI. So when we talk about the energy industry, being oil and gas or being in the nuclear, sometimes or very often, it relates to the sovereignty of the company. And so you cannot, in generative AI, you have to train your models. And it was completely out of questions to train the models with the data of the customer and relate that information to AVEVA and use that information to anybody else. So the AWS Bedrock technology, they were providing us with a Titan model, and it's pre-trained, and we didn't have to use the customer data for that. So that was allowing the customer to keep their sovereignty. So all of that to say is that what's really key for innovation in our industries is both the responsible aspect, the putting those guardrails around the usage of technology, just as much as the innovation that it enables. So now the customer is using the product. They are very satisfied with it. It allows them to not only search for keywords, but search for the deeper meaning and the content of the document inside the digital twin solution.
A lot of this just comes down to making things more efficient for their employees.
Indeed, yes. So that has always been the goal of a digital twin. It's just now the data are accessible to a larger group of people. You don't have to know exactly what you're looking for to find it. And that aspect on the democratization of data, lowering the cost of curiosity, are things that are extremely important for AVEVA and for AWS as we partner on innovation. When innovation lowers the cost of curiosity, it enables the innovation of the entire ecosystem.
Very good. Again, you know, you're jumping around from Malaysia to Europe, around the world. Are there any other examples of partner collaboration that you really want to highlight?
Yeah, so another example that is key to us and relates to what we were talking in the beginning is making sustainability affordable. And so we partner with this Norwegian carbon capture company. So their challenge is to use those medium-sized carbon capture units to support decarbonization of very high carbon-intensive industries like steel, like cement, like even oil and gas as well. And so for that, they needed to decrease the price of the unit. To do that, and spoiler alert, they were able, during the last 9 years, to decrease their price 90%. So 90% is a complete game changer in terms of affordability. So to do that and to support that, they implemented our unified engineering solution. It's a solution that is based on the AWS cloud technology. So they were able to create a template, making the work faster for every new unit that they're building. But also because it's a cloud solution, all their teams across the world can participate together in one unit and to the best of their local competency. So having a ubiquitous system was really key for that customer in decreasing their overall price year after year.
Great. Now switching gears just a little bit, just wanted to get your take on maybe what's something that's excited you the most about, you know, AVEVA's journey with AWS over, you said it's been about a decade or so?
It's been about a decade. I've been at AVEVA 5 years, so I have seen enough of the changes. So what really was important for us is the dialogue, when we were discussing the Bedrock generative AI technology, to have a partner with us that can deliver. We are a global company, and to be able to have data centers available for us and for our end customers all across the world was really key with that journey. So they opened a data center in Brazil. It's a game changer for our customers in Brazil. So we're looking forward to the deployment of new data centers and following closely behind AWS. So their dynamism, their expansion is something we value a lot. We value a lot also their advice. So at first, when we looked for generative AI technologies for this customer in Malaysia, they were really able to guide us. They have also open source technology on AI, but they were able to guide us to what fitted not only the technical need of the solution, but the cultural and sovereignty need of the solution. And that was key to us, that understanding of our market and our customers.
Great. Well, now, lastly, I just wanted to see if there was anything else you wanted to highlight about AVEVA or expound upon about just how you see the industry evolving.
No, I'm excited for the change. AVEVA is very strong in our sustainability. We call it our footprint is relatively modest as a software company, but we know our handprint is massive, and this is where we look forward to a larger role to play in years to come.
Great. Well, no, thank you so much for participating, for sharing your insights. Really enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone for joining us at the AWS Energy Symposium 2024. Have a great rest of the day.